Welcome back, Brothers View, another episode. This is going to be our recap retraction episode.
The problem with doing current events is like we haven't had that many episodes, but we're already having to come back and talk about some things, maybe some facts that, you know.
Well, you literally made up some shit.
I didn't make it up. I reported some shit.
So
It was made up shit, not my fault.
the last time we were talking about this, well, we got a few things wrong,
Okay.
right? But no, you got them wrong because you brought it up. But what was it? So we talked about.
I said that the guy made poop food in India. Okay.
Yeah.
The story was actually in Japan. Okay. And I just read a Forbes article not too long ago that basically said the whole thing was a hoax.
It's a hoax.
Okay. It was a very clever hoax because they put in like all these facts, like the lab and the doctor that they mentioned to it.
The protein content,
Yeah, okay.
carbs.
Okay. No, yeah, they gave all that. But actually, the lab that supposedly is making this food doesn't actually make any food products. Like, it's a real lab.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
It's a
But they have
comprehensive-
nothing to do with any of it. And in the video that they're talking about that they reported, it's interesting because it's supposed to be like this Japanese lab and dealing with addressing Japanese sewage. But a lot of the writing and stuff in the background is Chinese. So obviously, for those of us who are not familiar with Asian culture, wouldn't know the difference. But you know, actual knowledgeable people looked at that video and go, "Okay, wait, there's something wrong." And then when they dug into it, they're like, "No, this is all garbage."
So there's no shit burgers, no turd burgers.
It's funny because they actually used turd burgers. I didn't realize that, but that was actually in the in the marketing of it. But no, there's no.
So it didn't happen in India. It happened in Japan, but it really didn't happen.
Exactly.
Is the scientist real? Did we know that?
He's an actual scientist at that lab, but he has nothing to do with this.
Are you allowed to just write stuff like that?
You know
Without
what? He's intended. Were we supposed to take it seriously? I mean, we reported it as fact. We thought it was really funny, but I mean,
they got us fooled.
exactly.
Not that I would have ordered one. I would like to reply to that guy and just say, hey, listen, I'm from the Vegetarian Council of whatever, and I want to know, can we list your turd burger in your products? Can we put the vegetarian stamp seal of approval on it just to see what they did? All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
Good luck with that.
I'm gonna create a
You're gonna get
domain.
email from vegetarians.
I'm gonna create. Alex is gonna be so mad at me.
Exactly.
All
The
right.
first hate meal you get.
So that's a retraction, right? It was funny. We talked on it, and we got it wrong. I don't care. It was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh,
It was disgusting.
yeah.
Well, kind of talking about like one of our first episodes we did. Our boy, my boy, man, he got found guilty, I think, on 2 counts. Jonathan Majors, you know, Kang, man, they got Kang, 2 counts for the whole domestic violence that happened. And I feel for the guy. I thought he was real talented. I first saw him in Lovecraft Country. I love that show. I think he did a great job. Then I saw him. You know, he did Creed 3.
Yes, he was in
I
great.
didn't watch the movie, but I know he did a very good performance. You know, the guy's a specimen, man. But and then of course Kang, you know, in Marvel or whatever. Damn, dude, he guilty for. I guess he threw his at the time girlfriend
So
in the car or something.
right, and this is one of those things where I feel like the facts aren't really being properly reported here.
Yep.
Because this whole story came out as a domestic violence thing, and basically we've painted him as like he's this guy who was abusing his girlfriend.
Right.
And I don't feel like that narrative is really fair, because clearly we have 2 individuals who are in a toxic relationship they probably didn't need to be in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. And they needed to part ways. And I'm not trying to make him out to be innocent, because obviously there were some activities and some of the recordings of the stuff that he said. But you're like,
Yeah,
okay, guy, you know, this is not really a good look for
He
you.
needed to call a friend to get him out of that.
Yeah, he needed to part ways. Clearly they weren't in a good place. But the actual incident that he's actually being prosecuted for is an assault. I'm not sure we can elevate this towards domestic violence. We're going to call it domestic violence because they were in a relationship.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But first of all, he was trying to escape from this individual. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he had a hyperbolic emotional response. Clearly, these guys were having some issues. He exited a vehicle in the middle of traffic.
Hyperbolic emotional response.
Yes.
Okay.
If you jump out of a car in the middle of traffic, okay, clearly we're having a ridiculous response. Okay. When a 120-pound, 90-pound woman is coming after you, you felt the need to throw her back in the vehicle. Yo,
Yeah.
your perspective or the threat that's being here is a little bit much. Okay. Now, I'm not excusing this behavior. This is clearly you were having some issues.
Right.
Okay. But this man was afraid.
He ran like 5 or 6 city blocks.
Okay.
Full
so
sprint.
I'm going to say hyperbolic because I'm not sure how rational we're going to
Yeah.
say that he should have been afraid of this woman.
Yeah.
Okay. But clearly he was, because he was trying to get away from her. Some part of him was terrified of this woman that he
Yeah.
literally wanted to shove her back in the vehicle so he could run away.
So definitely, and again, not condoning, right? Put your hands on a woman, you're in the wrong. That's the way we were raised, and I think that's the way every man should be raised, right? You're in the wrong, right? If we reverse the roles and she were to slam him into the car and she runs 6 blocks, gets caught on ATM cams, restaurant cams, traffic cams, and we have this specimen of a man chasing her, I think it would totally change the narrative. I think it will totally result in, a whole different story being told.
And that's my issue
Yeah.
here. There's at no point are we going to say that his behavior was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But to turn around and destroy this man's career over some very poor choices, okay, over a scenario that really to me isn't that clear cut. I don't think we should elevate this guy to the same level as somebody who turns around and beats his wife or girlfriend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying that domestic violence is okay. Assault is assault. Honestly, that's literally the only term that we should be using.
He
here.
assaulted her. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, for sure.
You laid hands on this person to try to get away from them. But I agree, because if she was the one shoving him back into the vehicle to escape, she's a victim who got away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, if you're in fear for your life and you shove your assailant and then run away, how are you suddenly the aggressor?
Yep. So there were some cases that came out that said this guy's been aggressive with other females before. The trial was closed. It wasn't they didn't have cameras. I don't think they had cameras in the courtroom.
I don't recall. No.
I would have loved to have heard what the driver said, because they're in the back seat, right?
Some of his testimony is available, though. Yes.
Okay.
They were in the back seat. There was a driver in the back seat.
And I think he said that she was going batshit crazy. And she was like the aggressor in the argument.
Right, that's what I read.
So, we don't know the full story. No one knows the full story but these two. But like, I would say, hey, if this person is, batshit crazy, yelling at you, he did right by getting out the situation, your hyperbolic reaction. Then this person pursued you. Definitely he made a bad choice. You know what I mean? I think optics alone, he shouldn't have done it. Even unless she was wielding a weapon, I think optics alone, he shouldn't have done it. He could have handled it better. You know what I mean? Maybe he could have closed the door on her. I don't know. Maybe that would have been better. But grabbing her and physically, whatever. And then what did they get him for? Were they felonies or misdemeanors?
I believe they were misdemeanors. We'd have to go back and look that up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were just...
So I don't think he's going to do jail time, right?
No. From what I read, it was going to be community service type thing.
Community service. So I guess... So his career is done. Marvel's decided... Well, I take that back. His career with Marvel is over.
They're saying they're not going to work with him.
Yeah, they're not going to work with him because of, and it's sad, man. I think he's a good actor. I would like to have seen his works. Can you separate the actor from the person? I still hear people pumping R. Kelly. I still hear people blasting his tunes. Obviously, R. Kelly, horrendous acts, doing false imprisonment and crazy shit in the basement. I don't even want to talk about it, but I'm pretty sure he's getting what he deserves. He's in jail and whatever. But people are still pumping his music. Does that make it okay for Marvel to still use him as an actor, even though they might not agree with what he did on his personal life? You know what I mean? I don't know. I kind of feel like this is an antiquated way of looking at things. I think you should let your audience decide. Is it okay? Because I like him as an actor. There's a lot of actors that I like that I don't know anything about their personal life. Mel Gibson. I love almost all of Mel Gibson's movies, but like when you look at him personally, that guy's crazy. He's insane, and he's done and said some crazy,
some really bad things,
right?
Yeah,
but you can't take away Braveheart is still one of the best movies I think we've ever seen.
it was a fantastic movie.
Do we stop watching Braveheart now? So I don't know. I think let the fans decide. I know it's tough, right? Because as a studio, do you want to drop $100 million on this project? Lead actor is Jonathan Majors, and take it to the box office and it flops because nobody wants to see a movie from this guy because of what he did on his assault, domestic case, whatever. So I see the risk involved, but I kind of think you got to let your audience decide. I don't think it's fair for fair isn't the word,
that's
but
involved, and I can understand that when you did your initial casting. Okay, but to suddenly backtrack on your contracts, this guy had a multi-film contract.
yep.
I don't think that this and obviously you can write all kinds of weird clauses into a contract, right? But
So they're talking like a morality clause or something.
right, there can be morality clauses and what have you in a contract. But I think that we have to be careful as to what an employer can suddenly decide what you did on your personal time, what you screwed up in your personal life, and then turn around and
fire you for it.
Okay? Because at the end of the day, Jonathan Majors was playing Kang, a villain.
A despicable villain.
We weren't supposed to like him.
Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking about that. When I was saying this, I was thinking about that.
At no point
Yeah.
did suddenly Majors become a representative of Marvel or Disney.
Yep.
Okay. At no point did nothing that this man ever said or did was going to somehow be representative of what Disney or Marvel were doing. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then by what grounds are we terminating him? What violation did this guy do of his contract?
So he was in character? So he was acting in character.
No, I'm arguing the opposite. I'm arguing that what he does in his personal life is completely irrelevant. I don't care if this man ran down the street naked. It's completely irrelevant. What he did on his job, on his film, did he bring the character of Kang to life? That was what he was paid to do.
Right.
Did you bring to life a villain that we were all supposed to hate and fear? Okay, that was your job. Okay, what you do in your personal life, there's a limit to how much your employer should be able to step in and say, okay, you represent our company. But he doesn't.
He doesn't represent the company. Yeah. I get it.
These actions that occurred, okay, we can turn around and say, yo, this is a crappy relationship. You need to know, review, her taste in men, his taste in women. You obviously can't be together, mark your own separate ways, But that happens all the time across the country. People should get fired for this type of thing. Unless it happens on the job, which I've seen.
So, when we talk about this morality clause and they don't represent the company, are you alluding to like athletes? Because I feel like athletes are held at that standard.
And I've argued they shouldn't be.
Yeah. But the problem is, it's tough. Most of the time people go to the game because obviously they identify with the team and they're key players on that team, right? That people want to go see. You know what I mean? Let's just talk about Tom Brady because everybody knows who Tom Brady is. The Tampa Bay Bucks had a surge in freaking ticket sales because now we got Tom Brady.
Right.
I do think if we take Jonathan Majors out, insert Tom Brady, we're not having the same conversation because Tom Brady represents.
No. Back up. Go to Antonio Brown.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown was accused of far worse things. Okay, was an even worse character on the freaking field.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and bottom line is, if you had signed a contract, his performance on the field, people would have still gone because he was scoring for their team.
I guess the difference with Antonio Brown is he's not the face of the Bucks. He's been on multiple teams. Nobody came here to see Antonio Brown. You can pick up Antonio Brown. Ticket sales aren't going to go up. Yeah, but I mean, you've had. Well, now we're in the quarterback era. Maybe we've always been, but you've had like running backs. You've had other star players that have brought it. I just think if your left tackle did something like this, nobody gives a shit. But your star player, the like team captain maybe, or the reason why everybody shows up, they're going to hold him more accountable. And I think you're saying that Jonathan Majors is like our left tackle. Yeah, he's part of the team. He's part of the company, but he doesn't represent the company.
I think you need to, as an employer, show that you had a detrimental impact on a company before they sit there and turn around and take action towards you.
100%. I think
that's my point.
I think that solves everything right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If you're a player, if you're a celebrity, if you're an actor, okay,
Yep.
and you committed some sort of illegal act, regardless of how heinous, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it is the law's responsibility to prosecute you,
Yep.
not your employer. Okay. Now, he was found guilty of these misdemeanors.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But I feel like we're taking this to another level. This is not a case of somebody who was battering his girlfriend or wife.
They had a fight.
They had a fight. It was inappropriate.
They got
I'm
physical.
not saying that this was an unhealthy relationship. We can all acknowledge that. Okay. But then to turn around and fire him because somehow we're going to promote domestic violence by letting him be Kang the Conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. This is too big a leap. You sit there and destroyed this man's career. You can you could have advocated for this man to go for counseling. You could have done all kinds of things.
That would have
to
been a
address-
better route.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's different ways of dealing with this. I feel like we are honestly hurting real domestic violence victims by trying to equate this to that same scenario.
How? Like they won't come forward now?
No, I feel like what happened here does not equate what really, when we discuss domestic violence, we're talking about people being beat up, battered, hospitalized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When we talk about a perpetuity or cycle of violence that occurs in domestic situations, I don't feel like this is on that level.
So by adding this into that, we're watering down the whole thing, the whole narrative, I
that
guess.
way. I feel you're taking away from real victims of these types of problems. Okay. Because at the end of the day, this is a guy who went back to his apartment to collect his things because the relationship he had decided was over. Okay.
Yeah.
He goes to
I
collect
laughed.
his things and finds this woman passed out on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay. So he calls 911. She was alone without him, okay, for at least 12 hours.
Yeah.
But this is the incident that somehow
Caused and sparked the
pushed
whole thing.
the whole thing to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would even forgive the whole thing if there was like, I don't know, a squad car that saw him push her in the vehicle and he responded to an immediate type situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even that would have been a little bit more because we don't know how far it would have escalated. Okay. But what we saw was a man run away. Okay. Literally went back to his apartment to collect his things because he's out.
Do you know this happened in New York?
I don't recall the city that it happened in.
'Cause I know New York's real tough on these type of things, and I know it's to the point where New York City, at least, I know it's to the point where it doesn't even have to be a witness. You know, if this were to come up, if somebody saw this on YouTube, you know, the cops can go and like freaking arrest you or something like that. I know that like they have zero tolerance, probably to the point of, you know.
Well, due to the complexity of domestic violence in most states, if
Yeah.
a domestic violence is believed to have occurred, if there's any sort of evidence or bruising or a hit or anything, someone is being removed from the premise.
Which I'm okay with, but
Okay, so
arrested, I
that's-
was like,
Well,
Yeah.
I'm different. I want to
Yeah.
see arrested in every state because it may not be that case.
Right.
But someone's going to get physically removed from the premise for safety reasons because
Yeah.
clearly there is an issue here.
let's diffuse and
Okay.
then investigate.
But this is 12 hours after the event. You're saying?
Yeah.
And the person that you're saying abused her is the one who called 911 because he found her passed out on the floor. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what she had done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He literally called for help. And that doesn't make it okay. I mean, there have been abusers who've called for help after he screwed up and beat the crap out of her. You know what I'm saying? So that there's, you know, I'm not trying to say that that's an automatic.
Doesn't make it right,
pass.
wrong. Yeah.
But to sit there and fire this person over something that isn't really that clear cut, that isn't that egregious.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, even the court couldn't find him. And then we're going to turn around and terminate him. I feel like this is going too far. This is an overreaction. It's an overreach, and it shouldn't be that.
First thing you said was toxic relationship, and this guy needed a friend.
She needed a friend too.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
two of
But
them.
12 hours later, you're gonna go back. He should have sent his brother, his buddy, his cousin.
Absolutely.
Should have sent his
He should
girlfriend,
not
his
have gone
sister.
there.
It shouldn't have been him.
Yeah, I
You know what I mean? And what was in there that you needed so badly? You know what I mean?
Well, apparently they were living there, so
Yeah, but dude, I
I
mean,
business.
I can stay out of my house for 24 hours. I'm okay. I mean, anyway. Well, anyway, poor guy. Hopefully his career isn't over. I enjoy watching his work, and hopefully he learns from this. Hopefully they both learn from this, and they don't have because we don't want him to be stigmatized. So we'll see. Now, since we're on the whole updating what we did, our homegirl resigned, man. Dr. Gay from
Dr. Gay, yep.
the president of Harvard. She resigned. They got her on plagiarism.
Right.
So this is the doctor of Harvard. All right. So she had to write plenty of term papers in her career.
Okay. Including her dissertation. To
Including
get
her dissertation, which what started this crap, right?
Right.
I remember writing term papers 20 plus years ago. I remember citation was a pain in the butt. You had to put the little one, and then at the very bottom, you had to write something, and then at the end, you had the
bibliography.
Yeah, bibliography of all the resources that you whatever, right? This woman, this doctor, has written a gazillion of these. So she has failed to cite other people's words and works. So by definition, she's saying it's her own. She's taking credit for it. She's saying it's her words. And they went back even more, and I think they found 40 times that she has forgotten to cite this. And then Harvard said, hey, it's not plagiarism. You just forgot. I kind of...
Inappropriate annotation, I believe.
Okay, inappropriate annotation.
Inadequate, sorry. Inadequate annotation.
Yeah, and I feel you don't get a... That's like a doctor forgetting to put in the last stitch. I mean, this is what you do. And I think that she categorically screwed up. I don't think... I find her guilty. In the court of Carlos's opinion, she is guilty of being an idiot. And this is probably a woman 10 times smarter than I'll ever be. But she's an idiot. She's an idiot for doing this. Like, literally. And I feel like this never would have happened if she didn't she took the wrong moment to stand up for free speech. If that's what she was standing up for. With the whole renouncing of
genocide of Jews.
Dude, I don't care who you are. Do you renounce genocide? Absolute, categorically, I do. If you want to kill every Martian that ever lived, I'm against you. I'm sorry. Genocide is never good. And if you are worried about the flack that you're going to get from renouncing genocide, I don't see the argument there. I just wish... She's an idiot. I'm sorry.
I feel like there's so many different elements to these events that it's hard to pin it to any one thing. And I feel like at this point, I have to decide that everyone involved is lying.
Everybody's involved is what?
Lying. Okay.
What
Either to themselves or the general public. Okay.
To themselves.
Let's say, okay, that this isn't plagiarism.
Okay. We'll focus on the plagiarism part.
Let's talk about that point.
Okay.
Let's pretend that this isn't plagiarism, that you failed to cite proper sources. Okay. These are all peer-reviewed articles. Okay. These are articles that she did in order to get her dissertation, which means somebody had to grade these documents. Okay.
Right.
Every time I ever wrote a document, okay, submitted a term paper that had inappropriate citation, okay, I got a bunch of red marks in my paper telling me, yo, you didn't cite this properly. Okay, and they took off points off my paper.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
That wasn't plagiarism. That's you being a moron of not following the proper format in order to give proper credit. Okay? So you're telling me that 40 occasions she did this, and the peer reviewers and her professors, when she was coming up as a student, didn't catch any of this. At Harvard.
Yep. At Harvard.
Okay, so
At Harvard,
either
bro.
she's guilty of plagiarism, because she took credit for all this stuff, or you're telling me that the folks at Harvard are a little bit incompetent because they don't know how to grade a paper and realize that there's inappropriate citations.
Or they're not grading it.
Someone else had to call them out on it.
Yeah.
Which is it? Okay, I'm not sure which of those scenarios is worse. Okay, so is she the victim of having shitty teachers who never taught her that she was doing this incorrectly, or is she guilty of
Shitty teachers at Harvard. Wow.
I mean, what are we talking about here? And these, I mean, if it was one time, okay, anybody makes a mistake. Everybody could, they didn't realize, she didn't cite this. But you're telling me this occurred 40 times?
Yep.
Okay, so then who's at fault? Is she really at fault here? Because no one else managed to correct her errors? I mean, this is what peer review is for. This is why this is why we have professors.
Yep. and I read this article on it, and I went through a roller coaster of emotions. So she came into the spotlight because of the genocide comment, and I want to talk about that. Then they started scrutinizing her work, and then plagiarism on her dissertation came out.
Correct. She became a target because of her testimony.
So I was like, damn, you know what? You're an idiot for the genocide stance. 2, now we're going to go and find out everything she did from kindergarten because she stole crayons from Jimmy's crayon box. That's all going to come out. But so I started saying, hey, they're targeting her. But what she did, she got an independent panel to review her work. So, Jimmy over here said, hey, you cheated on the paper. She said, hey, listen, I'm not going to get into an argument with you. Let's get an independent panel to review my work. So then I was like, you know what? That's pretty bold. If you said I did something, cool. Let's go to the cops, let the cops investigate, because I know I'm innocent. That's the only time I would do something like that. And if I did something wrong, it was out of ignorance. My bad. I didn't do it out of, malintent. But then this panel goes back to her last 5 papers and find a bunch of issues where she did, what'd you say? Annotation? What?
Inadequate citation, I think is what they get.
Then they went further back, and then they found 40 instances. I'm not saying it was 40 papers. I don't know, but they found 40 instances.
Okay.
So then I'm reading this article, I'm like, you're an idiot. You screwed up. You gave the keys to people to investigate that you screwed up, and now you resign. The end result is you resign. And this all started, this is the main point. This all started because she wouldn't say, I don't remember the exact wording, you might.
The question was, is advocating genocide of the Jews against the code of conduct of the university?
To me, that's a simple answer. We've seen this in every sales movie. If you're drowning and I throw you a lifeline, would you take it? Yes. Is genocide of any context against the code of conduct? Yes. I just can't get behind. I'm like, dude,
I'm a little soft on this issue for her. A little bit.
How?
Out of normal context and this type of conversation.
That's the word she was using the whole time. Normal context.
In any other conversation, okay, there's no question. The minute you mention genocide, then we can agree that no,
turn the page.
This is horrible.
Get out of my house.
Okay. Now, I've joked about the Thanos effect.
Okay.
Okay.
A fictional character.
I understand, but I did advocate, for large scale slaughter. Not to be taken seriously, not to be taken in that context. Obviously, I don't mean it in those words.
Right.
But somebody could turn around and say, yo, you obviously advocated for the deaths of half the population.
Right.
Okay. That's taking it out of context.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So, in the guise of free speech is what she's trying to defend. Now, I understand we have a problem with anti-Semitism, and this is the issue that was being addressed.
Mm-hmm.
I also understand that when you're being asked to testify before Congress, they are really looking for these gotcha moments. They're literally looking to twist your words and make political points by making you look a certain way.
I was going to say it's politically motivated.
Absolutely.
There's an agenda,
There's no question about it. So I can understand that when you're in that hot seat, okay, trying to navigate the minefield that's being thrown at you, okay, it's easy to make some mistakes. They set you up to make those types of mistakes. That's what they were looking for.
I mean, she couldn't call for a bathroom break. Hey, bro, I really got to go. And I would go. I told you, if it happened to me, I would run and say, I got to go to the bathroom. I don't care. And I'd call you and say, Ray, they got me in a, they got me in a corner, dude.
As far as I know
Yeah.
about congressional testimony, the way that it's timed, the whole structure is, short of you passing out or having a heart attack, you're not getting out of that seat.
Oh,
You're going to have some sort of medical emergency to get out of that seat. They've got you locked in.
Yeah.
That congressman, senator, whoever is conducting the interview has a limited amount of time. That's their moment.
Okay,
They're
okay.
going to shine. They're going to get their bullet points, and they're doing it at your expense.
I say this all the time. You're the smartest person I know. There's a limited time. All right. First of all, she's from Harvard, right? She might be smarter than you because I don't know her, but I would
I'm
say
sure she is, yeah.
Okay, I would say, hey, you got 5 minutes. Okay, you asked me this question. It sucks. I can't go to the bathroom. Can I get a glass of water? I am going to anti-filibuster that moment. Okay, or filibuster. I'm probably using it wrong, but I'm going to do. I am not. Oh my god, she's just an idiot.
No,
She's
but
so
then
smart.
They would turn around and say that would have been just as bad. They would turn around, you evaded the question. It should have been, because literally that's what they pinned it down to her. Yes or no.
Right.
And she wouldn't give that yes or no answer because she's trying to give the legalese of trying to give, it depends on the current context or whatever. You know, she tried to walk the line of free speech to leave themselves an opening.
I would have said, you're asking me to cite the code of conduct. I don't have it here with me. Please allow me a moment to go get it.
You the president of the university. You better know what your damn code of conduct is.
The president doesn't know the Constitution verbatim. He has an expert that tells him the Constitution says this or that.
Freaking familiar with it. So I'm going to tell you.
So let's close out with our segment, Pussy versus Patriot. And we're going to pick her because I think she's a pussy. She's an idiot and she's a pussy. She never should have. She should have just said, yes, this is against. Genocide is against. That's my opinion.
I'm going to have to go with pussy as well. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I feel that bad that she was targeted, but the plagiarism is on her.
Yeah. Yeah. That messed her up. I think whatever leg she had on.
Exactly.
Let's do two more. Jonathan Majors.
You know, I have to go with pussy.
Yeah.
I like the guy. I feel like he's getting the raw deal. But bottom line is, you put yourself in this toxic relationship. You knew you were a public figure.
Yep.
Dude, you should have manned up way before this. You guys had a history. Yo, if you and this chick can't get along, y'all should have parted ways sooner than that.
Yep. Last one. The guy who wrote the article, he's a patriot in my book. I love that guy. I don't know what his name is.
food?
The chip food guy. Because you called the actual scientist an asshole on the last one, which was epic.
If he had been.
If he had been, right?
Right. Turned
But
out that's
the
not
guy who
true.
wrote that article is a patriot.
So the
man.
poor guy's not actually an asshole because he didn't actually do this.
I'm sure his feelings are not hurt that it's a hoax. Scientist, whatever his name is from Japan. Oh my God.
No. I mean, he's certainly not a pussy.
Yeah, it's pretty ballsy to say that they make shit burgers. Yeah.
Forbes magazine is talking about your little hoax. I mean, come on, you got a lot of attention.
Stop. You're right. Yes.
That's dude. They accomplished their mission with their little hoax.
Dude, I've never been on Forbes magazine. I think I did more than write an article about eating shit. Anyway, that's our episode. Thanks. Appreciate it. See you guys in the next one.